What is up, everybody? It's Vicious here, and I know this is a little different from what I've been doing, and I got some more content coming to you. Slowly getting to editing my DNF duel or DFO content, and I still got a Horizon review to do, and etc. etc. But things just keep coming up, life keeps happening, and other things are like sort of catching my interest, like very like passingly. So like this tweet, for instance, sort of blew up overnight from MZ Okarafor. I hope I said that correctly. At MZ on Twitter. You guys can see it right there. So we're going to go ahead and read the tweet, and we're going to like actually watch the video because this guy is going off. You guys can already see him going off. Anytime you start to think fighting games need to get harder instead of more accessible, you need to watch a stream of a new player trying out Street Fighter V. This AT&T Twitch event is a reminder that fighting games, even the easiest, in quotes, ones like Street Fighter V, are hard AF to 99% of gamers. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Let's actually watch this video here. Let's go ahead and start this from the beginning.
Does Apex Legends do that when you play? Does Apex Legends do that when you play and you go to a bronze lobby? It doesn't place you against. Sometimes it does. But like the thing about it is like that's a 1 in 60 chance. Like you're telling me there's that many players on Street Fighter? There's that many players on Street Fighter? At least you can point, click, shoot. It's fucking easy. Point, click, shoot. Mad easy. Mad fucking easy. You can watch literally a 10-minute tutorial how to do it, but not have to be frame fucking perfect. You literally have to actually why can't I button smash? Can we just go back to fucking 1999 where I can literally just doom and do crazy fucking combos with my forehead? Because as of right now, this whole frame perfect shit is annoying. I just want to fucking palm smash my controller. Does Apex Legends do that when?
Sorry guys, my hotkeys are all messed up, so I don't know. We can go over that again if you need to, but I'll check it out in editing. But anyway, basically my guy is he's really upset that he seems to be losing. From what I understand, I did not watch the stream, so I'm not exactly sure what was happening, but it seemed like it seemed like he was mad because he was losing in Street Fighter V. And, there's a couple of comments in this thread. I'll get to what I think here in a second. But here are some of the popular comments. Let's see. Cannot be done is due to intrinsic design of fighting games, their root, and how they were conceived. The issue is that the core fighting games haven't changed because they can't in 30 years, but excuse me. But what the average gamer considers fun has changed wildly. This is true. I definitely had to agree with that. There was one here that I really kind of resonated with a little bit, but also I wanted to talk about in specific. I think this was this one. Okay, SF5 is difficult because it is more accessible. When you lower the skill barrier, you compress what separates players. The fact that it's late in the life of the game and there are almost no noobs doesn't help a guy like him. Well, okay, so I wanted to talk about this comment because I think that Street Fighter 4 is way more complicated and harder than Street Fighter 5. And I think Street Fighter 4 definitely sold more. That game is way harder than 5. Just for the simple fact that combos are built in such a way, especially with the links in that game, that are it's very intimidating. Street Fighter, it coming back onto the scene and people saying that it's Street Fighter, I think that's the main reason why that game sold a bunch. But honestly, Street Fighter 4, I don't know how much it would sell in this era post Street Fighter 5. If they made a game exactly like it, But let's see. Complain that you have time to button presses in a fighting... Complaining that you have to time your button presses in a fighting game is like complaining that you have to aim in a shooter. Very excellent point. Anything can be hard if you refuse to learn. See, I really like that one. That's probably my favorite comment. We're not going to go over it anymore, but I want to talk about this tweet. So there are a lot of people that want games to be harder and harder, and honestly, I don't think that is a good idea. Making a game more accessible is definitely the way to go. DNF Duel is a good example. DNF Duel is super accessible. They cut out the middleman with the whole, putting motion inputs. You can put motion inputs if you like, but honestly, why would you? At this point, at this juncture, after playing the 2 betas, like, you might as well just go ahead and like let them fly. So I think it's a really accessible game. I think a lot of people are going to have a good time playing that game because of how accessible it is. They can feel cool doing cool stuff. Similarly to Blaze Blue, actually, with the drive button. Because there's A, B, C, D, and the D button on Blaze Blue almost always ends up having you do something cool that's related to the character. And, making games more accessible is definitely a good thing. I don't want games to be blistering hard, but I do want them to leave room for you to improve. Like having a high ceiling is definitely an important thing. And I don't know how high I would say the ceiling is for Street Fighter V, but I don't think this guy's mental capacity is like up there to be fighting people in bronze, right? So bronze, no matter who you are, unless you have like a sock account, I think bronze is like the lowest of the low, right? There are some people that know some stuff, and there are some people that are pretty decent at fighters and they can do decently in bronze. Me myself, I never made it out of super silver because I didn't play the game that much, and honestly I'm not that great at Street Fighter V. But it just makes me think, like, man, this guy is really, his blood vessels are popping out of his head because he's playing Street Fighter V and he's comparing it to what was it called, like Call of Duty. Call of Duty does take a certain amount of skill to play as well, but it's just a different mindset. It's like a different mindset of playing checkers and chess and Chinese checkers and stuff like that. If that makes sense. Like, there's definitely a different type of way to go about it. But if you're not that good, you can always get better. You can try to get better. You can like talk to people. But I really hate this idea that this person, whoever it is, might be pretty influential, and they're just like, once again, one of these people that are just saying, oh man, the fighting games, why would you play a fighting game? I want to like mash my face over the controller. That's what he's saying right there. And you know what I thought when he said that? I was thinking, like, you know what? There was never a game that you could just mash your face on the controller and just like do it like a really big combo in the 90s. I'm thinking about Tekken, and it's like, no, you couldn't really do that in Tekken. Not mashing. You could do something with Eddie and Huarong, but nothing more than like maybe 4 hits, and it was blockable and punishable at that. You know what I mean? Marvel vs. Capcom, I don't think you could do it in there either. Like there's a lot to like dissect when it comes to that section of this video. I highly doubt this guy like was very good at any game like involving like the fighting game genre. I think that maybe he might have been playing some locals, might have been playing some other people that weren't that good, but he's faced with the internet now, and I think that's the biggest problem here is he's faced with the internet, and in the face of the internet, other people are as good as him, if not like way better, and he's having trouble trying to cope with that. And I think a lot of people have been there. Before I even played with people online with Tekken 6, I thought I was the best Tekken player in the world because I was doing down forward 2 on enemies or opponents on the computer in Tekken 5, and it was working, and I could get a lot of damage, and they'd go to crumple state, and I just thought that was the most humiliating thing. Fast forward, Tekken 6 came out, and I figured out I wasn't the best player in the world. I figured out I was a pretty good player because of my legacy skill, but it pales in comparison to people that were better, right? So there's an ego portion to it as well, and I think that this grown ass dude, I don't know how old he is, but he has facial hair, so I'm assuming that he's grown to some degree, and some drinks, a fridge in his room, so I'm assuming he's grown, makes big boy money and all of that. This guy, I don't think he's like coping with the fact that people are beating him up like so easily, And there's nothing that's really like frame perfect in Street Fighter V. He mentioned it being frame perfect. That's not a frame perfect game. There's like way crazier games than that. I don't think there's any just frames in Street Fighter V. I could be wrong because I'm not that close with the game, but it's really weird that, you know, Street Fighter 5, the game that has like the easiest links out of the entire series, is like busting this guy's brain. So it just leads me to believe he hasn't played Street Fighter. He plays some other fighting game, and like an idiot, he thinks that it's the same as the other fighting games. Like, they're not all the same, buddy. You know, I wouldn't tell somebody that Call of Duty is the same as Battlefield. I wouldn't tell somebody that Call of Duty is the same as Apex Legends either. It's just a totally different game. But I wanted to talk about this because it seemed to have blown up, and honestly, I wanted to like give some honest thoughts on it. But anyway, if you're watching this far, go ahead and give this person a follow. I don't know them, but you know, they posted a video, they posted the controversy, so here I am talking about it. Later.